You froze on me. Can you hear me?
Yes. A ministry dedicated to lifting humanity. Uh-oh. We lost connection. Okay, we're back. Can you hear me okay, John?
I can. You froze for a second there, but it looks like it's back now.
Yes, there's a storm brewing over here in Maryland, and I lose connectivity from time to time, and it just kind of froze, and then it came back. So that's the internet
for you.
Maryland? I'm in
Maryland.
Hyattsville.
Where?
Hyattsville.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. I used to live in Rockville, Bethesda.
Oh yeah, that's not far. I used to be in Silver Spring, which is a half to jump away from Rockville. So.
Yeah, I spent like a year or two in Gaithersburg as well. Yeah.
Oh, okay. You're
close up to you.
Woods. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, cool. You got to come by. You got to come by and let's do lunch sometime in person. All right.
I'm sure I'll be up to DC sooner or later.
I know. If all goes well, you will be. And like I was saying, to you off camera, if I could, I would vote for you 1,000%. Over there in Tennessee, doing big things. So, I do appreciate all the work that you're doing for, the people. And I am a huge fan. And so why don't you introduce everyone who may not know you and give them a little, background. And then we're going to talk about, restoring power to the people and your mission.
Sure. My name's John Gentry. I'm a certified public accountant and a former Force Recon Marine. I served 8 years in Force Recon, and as a veteran, the Constitution and our rights are especially important to me because I served my country defending those, and I lost friends, along the way. And that's why I'm doing what I'm doing. And for the people out there that haven't met me or followed my work, I'm trying to restore the voice of the people in our government. In the First Amendment of the United States Constitution, we all know that we have a right of free speech. But it also includes in the First Amendment that we have the right to petition for redress of grievance. And in our state constitutions, in Tennessee Constitution, Article 1, Section 23, it says that we have the right to petition for redress of grievance or other proper purpose by address or remonstrance. And like, what remonstrance, what the heck is that? I mean, people, this is a right that we have forgotten that we have. And this is how we demonstrate that power is inherent in the people. That the government derives its power from the people. And because we have the right to petition by address or remonstrance, that's how we control our government. That's how we complain when we are treated unfairly by our government. Whether it's a police officer that violates your rights or the current unchecked judicial corruption that is happening across this country today, this is how we do it. And so, in my case, I filed it's the first petition since the year 1850. This hasn't been done in 170 years. In the history of Tennessee, it's the first remonstrance ever filed in the entire history of the state of Tennessee. And mine is somewhat complicated. I'm demanding reform of the legal system and the judicial system. I want people advised of what their right of due process is, which includes a right to be heard, a right to confront adverse witness testimony face to face, and most importantly, we have a right to a fair and impartial court. You can't have due process if you don't have a fair judge, right? As well as some other things in there. I want live stream recorded court proceedings available to the public and drug tests for judges, because some of these judges are some pretty nasty characters out there. So that's the heart of what I'm trying to do, is to restore the voice of the people in their government and to restore, justice, basically, out there. So that should give you an idea and of what I'm about and who I am. You know, I care deeply about everybody out there. The work that I'm doing, I'm not asking for money. I'm asking them to provide fair due process to everybody else out there. When your rights are violated by a government you trust to protect your rights, it hurts. You know, it hurts really bad, and for some people, it causes suicide, addiction to substance abuse. They become almost incapable of performing day-to-day tasks, and certainly it harms their ability to remain productive in the workforce. And those are for people that you know, we see children taken away wrongfully in child protective service cases, or when you have a judge that doesn't care what you have to say, doesn't care about the evidence. You know, we see it. We see President Trump. You know, he stated openly, it doesn't matter how good your argument is in the Ninth Circuit, you're going to lose out there. And that's what we see in particularly in family courts and juvenile courts today. Doesn't matter what evidence you have. Doesn't matter if the law is on your side. It doesn't matter how strong your argument is. They're going to do whatever they want to do. And whatever they want to do is whatever creates the most revenue for them. So that should give you a pretty good idea what I'm about.
Absolutely. It does. And I commend you for taking on this mantle and trying to be, you know, a change maker. Was there anything in particular or any one in particular situation that got you started with wanting to, you know, what led you to the filing of your remonstrance?
You know, I just started off in a stupid divorce proceeding. It should have been pretty easy. You know, we should have been in and out of there, you know, in a couple of hearings. And it dragged on for 2 years. My own attorney was conspiring against me because, you know, if you go into a court case and you just settle everything, the attorneys don't get paid. So they have incentive to drag out the argument as long as possible. And the judges know this because judges are just attorneys in black robes, many of them corrupt. And so their whole purpose of our courts today is to keep the thing going for as long as they can so they can generate as much attorney fees as they can get. It's basically a scam that these guys are running. And the problem with that is you know, to keep those proceedings going, they engage in vexatious litigation, false and unsupported allegations. They know that when false and unsupported allegations are made, the victim of that's going to fight like hell for justice. And they know that person is going to keep coming back. And that's how they keep the gravy train growing. Now, for me, I'm a certified public accountant. I'm a pretty smart guy. You know, I did my bachelor's degree in 2.5 years at the University of Maryland. And I learned really quick. So I got rid of my attorney and I started representing myself. And I kicked their butts pretty good in court. But most people can't do that. And as I learned more about how deep the corruption runs in our government, the more compelled and the greater the duty that I felt to try to do something, you know, and fight back and restore what the framers of our Constitution, what our founders intended for this country when they established this republic. So as I got out there, I started learning about the elder care abuse. So an elderly person will go to the hospital with a bed sore, and then the state, the hospital is required to report it to social services, and then social services will come in and they'll remove that elderly person from their own self-sufficient care, take them into state custody, put them in a nursing home. The state will appoint a guardian ad litem, which is an attorney to represent this elderly person. But they ain't representing the elderly person. They're representing the state and themselves. And so they start selling off the assets of these elderly people, and they're taking a cut of the pie every time and collecting attorney fees. The state is getting money under Title IV incentives, which is our Social Security fund, so they're stealing our retirement. So that's one example. Another one is child protective social services. A teacher will see a bruise, and under state law, they have to report it. And social services will come in there. I've seen cases where they used a picture of another child to take a child from parents. It was absolutely a fabricated image from another child, and the judges just buy right into it, and because they know that person is going to give up their entire life savings to fight for the right to care for their own child, and they run these parents through absolute hell, and then they drag them out for a couple of years, and the parents is getting pissed off. It's costing them half their life savings, so they start getting mad. And they're like, oh, well, now you got anger management issues, so you're going to have to go to anger management counseling. Who's another state actor getting paid, right? And these are just some of the injustices that are out there. It's incredible how perverted our legal system has come. I'm fortunate that I'm able to learn quickly, and I have the ability to fight these guys on their level. All day today, I've actually been writing a brief that I've got to file tomorrow morning for a hearing on Friday. These guys make false statements, false arguments of law, and I have like two days to respond. So I stay up all night, writing these documents. I use my lunch breaks and write these documents. But I have the ability, so I just feel compelled to try to help the people out there that can't.
Absolutely. I just feel the same level of desire to help, because I have that same ability to kind of learn very quickly. I have my master's degree, and I had to stop my education. I was just 15 credits shy of getting my PhD when I got slammed with a horrific family court case, and it just turned my world upside down. So, like you said, it should have been a very simple in and out case that just upended, my world. And then I started seeing the fraud in my own case and in other cases, and the more and more I was digging, the more and more I uncovered, and then I realized, oh my God, it's widespread. It's all over. And go ahead, I'm sorry.
And this, and this corruption in the trial court.
Oh.
If any level of oversight were working at all, judicial oversight agencies, law enforcement with the FBI, the appellate courts, the federal courts, the federal appellate courts, and even the Supreme Court of the United States, they all aid and abet these crimes that are perpetrated under color of law. I'll give you a perfect example. I took two cases to the Supreme Court of the United States. One was a RICO action against bad actor attorneys, and the other one was a civil rights complaint against a bad actor judge. I took those all the way to the Supreme Court of the United States and was denied at every step. In the Supreme Court of the United States, now for that to happen, there were rights violations and denials of due process in the federal district courts and the federal circuit courts. And so I evidenced all of that misconduct in my pleadings. And when I filed in the Supreme Court of the United States, there were 17 appendixes that I attached to my appellant's brief. You can go look on the Supreme Court website today, and if you search my name, Gentry, you'll see two cases in there, and there's a petition for rehearing that I did. And in there, I evidenced that the Supreme Court of the United States concealed 14 of the 17 appendixes that I filed because they evidenced the misconduct and criminal conduct of federal judges out there. So this problem, it runs deep and it runs to the top, but it's not unsolvable if we come together as a people and we stop being silent. We start exercising our right to vote. People have stopped voting because there's nobody good to vote for. So, you know, so the people out there, if you don't know anybody good to vote for, go find somebody that you know and trust and encourage them to run for office. Or do like I'm doing and run for office yourself. You know, you can do it at the city level, you can do it at the state level. And of course, it's much more difficult. You could do it at the federal level. So I'm running for state senator here in Tennessee, and I find I'm growing 20% every week because my message resonates with a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people that are fed up with this garbage that's going on in our government.
Again, I just commend you. I actually thought about that as a solution and a remedy to the problem. We need to replace these corrupt actors with decent, law-abiding citizens who are good at heart and want the truth and want to operate in honor. I had thought about it, but I just don't know. It's not completely off the table, but it's just something I've been toying around with for about 2 years now. But the corruption is so deep, it just turns me off. I just don't know if I can stomach it, to be around these people on a day-to-day basis. But I haven't completely ruled it out. It's just something I'm not completely ready to jump into right now. So I commend you 100%. I support everything that you're doing. I want to just kind of wrap up because, like we were talking about, just let's keep each video to a short, brief bit, and then we could record a second one. So let me just do the quick outro. Guys, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up. Remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Until the next time, be safe, everybody. Peace, bliss, and positive vibes only in the comments. If you feel the need or compelled to leave a negative comment, I will read it, but I will not respond. So thank you again, John. We'll just conclude this one right now. Bye, everybody.
Thank you, guys.